tariffs and inflation. What does history tell us about tariffs and its impact on inflation or deflation?
So the thing is, we've been through a long period in which tariffs were going down. Remember, since World War II, really, it's been a process of lowering tariffs globally. So there just isn't a lot of modern learning on that. I think people look at the incidence of tariffs during the president's first term, but those were like 1/6 the size of what's people are estimating now. And they do find some effects on inflation. But remember, in 2019, when those tariffs were put into place, the economy was slowing. We actually cut rates 3 times. Inflation was running at 1.5%. So it was a very different time. This is different. I think one of the reasons why it's so challenging is that there really isn't a modern precedent. Yeah. And I think we have to be humble about our estimates. And we are very open to the possibility that transmission through into inflation will be less than we think, or maybe more than we think, which is why we're in a position of wanting to take our time and make a smart decision as we see how this unfolds.
What would happen if we allow all of these borrowers to default?
So the point I was making, I try hard not to comment on things that aren't Fed policy, but I broke that rule in this case many years ago, so I'll just say what I said then, which is, you can make all kinds of investments and you can discharge if you can't pay back the loan, you can discharge it in bankruptcy. The one exception we make is student loans, and I ask whether that is wise national policy. People that borrow to invest in their education, that we do not forgive. It seems like something for Congress to consider, that's all. It's none of the Fed's business, really. Ultimately, it's not a big macroeconomic thing, but I've said it before, I said it again.
Mr. Chairman, I appreciate your breaking your own rule before, and I appreciate your
I won't do it again.
Now. I could not agree with you more.
What's the impact of increasing the national debt? So I understand that you don't comment on fiscal policy, but it does affect your job, which is keeping inflation under control and also maximizing employment. If certain policies would materially drive up the national debt and increase the debt to GDP ratio over time, could that make it more likely that we would see inflation, all else being equal?
I mean, theoretically, sure, fiscal policy can add to inflation, but that's, again, that's really not something we comment on. We try to stay away from fiscal policy.
I understand you don't comment on it, but I do appreciate your acknowledgement of the math here.
How will we suffer if the dollar is no longer considered to be the currency of world record?
Right, so there are enormous benefits to having the dollar be the most important reserve currency in the world. It remains such, and for very long standing and continuing reasons, which is, our rule of law, our democratic institutions, our commitment to price stability, our open capital markets. All of those things remain intact, and I think being the reserve currency doesn't last forever, but it's quite a durable equilibrium, and I suspect that we will be the world's reserve currency for a long time to come.